Despite the German brand, X5 is assembled in the USA at a plant in the city of Spartanburg, PC, South Carolina. More than half are sold in the New World, and the rest are distributed around the world, and the chassis settings and equipment for America and Europe are different. BMW has long hesitated to release SUVs. Only in 1999 a step was taken in this direction. The X5 E53 crossover was created. This car was positioned as the first swallow of a new class, SAV, sports activity vehicle, and was intended primarily for the US market. It is not surprising that this version was equipped with a motor so beloved in America, a gasoline V8, 4.4L. The success of the model inspired the creators of the bestseller to adapt for Europe as well. Mainly 3-liter cars were delivered there. During the restyling of 2003, the headlights, bumpers and hood were updated, and the most powerful version of the X5 appeared. 4.8 is 360 horsepower, which accelerated to 100 km/h in 6.1s. In 2007, the second generation X5 appeared, which received the E70 index. Outwardly, this car partly retained the features of the previous one, but technically these are completely different cars. The new BMW X5 is equipped with petrol engines with a volume of Z.SL, 272 horsepower, and 4.8L, 355 horsepower, as well as a 3-liter turbo diesel, 235 horsepower. The second generation BMW X5 E70 appeared in 2006. The arsenal included a 3.0-liter gasoline R6, 272 horsepower, and a 6.8-liter V8, 255 horsepower, as well as turbo diesels with a volume of 3.0 liters, 211,231,269 and 286 forces. Gearbox, AKP 6. As for the secondary market, most consumers prefer to buy cars from Europe for a reason, especially such expensive and difficult to maintain cars as the BMW X5. The negligent attitude of Americans towards the maintenance of iron horses is well known. They often use non-regulated fluids, do not meet the deadlines, and sometimes ignore some preventive work. This often leads to early wear of the engine and automatic transmission. In the old world, a car is usually surrounded by care and attention, so when buying a European, it is often enough to check whether there were accidents in his past and the reality of the mileage indicated on the odometer, and not to study like an American in all details. For which of the markets a particular car was released can be easily determined by the 7th character in the body number, 1 for Europe, 2 for right-hand drive, and 3 for America. The car was produced in a single body, a station wagon, but there were a great many trim levels, but most of the cars on the secondary market are equipped with the full standard. This includes separate climate control, a leather interior with electric seat adjustments and position memory, a large monitor in the center of the front panel with the TV tuner and GPS, 8 airbags, heated mirrors and seats, a Webasto preheater and much more. In the cabin, everything is in the tradition of BMW, solid finishing materials, excellent ergonomics, and excellent sound insulation. After restyling in 2003, the X5 was outwardly updated quite a bit. It acquired new headlights and angel eyes, annular front position lights, branded nostrils on the hood became larger, and bumpers became more aggressive. In the technical part, the changes are more significant. The all-wheel drive system has been improved, the power of most of the installed motors has increased, and the machine has received an additional 6th stage. This car is one of the safest in its class and reliably protects the driver and passengers in the event of a collision. But it is not so friendly to pedestrians. In the Euro NCAP X5 tests, it received only 1 star for their safety. As for the build quality and corrosion resistance, the Bavarians, as usual, are at their best here. Uneven gaps between body panels and rust on cars even in the first years of production are a clear sign of an emergency past. On asphalt, the car behaves just fine. It keeps the trajectory perfectly. Rolls and corners are minimal. The suspension swallows most of the bumps even at high speed. True, the car may seem unnecessarily rigid to the rear passengers, but this is a necessary sacrifice in favor of excellent stability. Off-road, the car gives into real roads. No locks and downshifts are provided here. You can drive along the country road to the dacha, but it's better to go to real mushroom places on foot. The X-Drive all-wheel drive system is primarily adapted for fast driving on roads with a low coefficient of adhesion and not severe off-road. In older versions, it distributes at a time of 38:62, and after the upgrade, Smart Electronics provides proportion changes from 0:100 to 50:50. In addition, electronic systems slow down the slipping wheels, thereby simulating the operation of interwheel differential locks. The suspension of all wheels is multi-link independent, but for the excellent handling of the car you have to pay with the limited resource of its elements. The lower arms and stabilizer struts in front go about 40,000 kilometers. By 60,000, you usually have to change the ball bearings of the upper arms, and by 80,000 kilometers, the upper arm assembly. Hub bearings and shock absorbers withstand about 100,000 kilometers. The service life of the rear suspension elements is approximately the same. The stabilizer struts are about 40,000 kilometers, and the upper rear arms are 70,000 kilometers. The resource of the remaining parts of the chassis is highly dependent on the driving style, and it's not necessary once at a time. Often, by 80,000 kilometers, there is a tapping in the steering rack, and to eliminate it, it is often necessary to change the assembly. However, if the sound is not very annoying, then the replacement of the steering mechanism can be delayed, since this does not affect the behavior of the car. The brake calipers are still leaking. It is treated either by replacing or by reassembling the assembly with updating the cuffs and seals. The most low-powered in the lineup are inline 6-cylinder 3-liter engines, gasoline, 231 horsepower, and turbo diesel, 184, and after 2003 to 218 horsepower. It is these engines that can be called optimal in terms of the totality of consumer properties. They are reliable, unpretentious in operation, relatively easy to repair and quite economical. At the same time, they provide the car with decent dynamics and maximum speed. 8-cylinder V-shaped gasoline engines with a volume of 4.4 liters, 286 horsepower, from 2003, 320 horsepower, and 4.6 liters, 347 horsepower, to which 4.8-liter 360 horsepower are also quite reliable, but they are much more expensive to maintain than 3-liter ones, and their fuel consumption is much higher. All engines are equipped with a timing chain drive, the resource of which is about 250,000 kilometers. By 70,000 kilometers, play in the pump bearings may appear, as a result of which the drive belt often breaks. To avoid road surprises, it is recommended to update the attachment belts, together with rollers, every 50,000 kilometers. All motors are characterized by noticeable, especially when constantly driving at high speeds, oil consumption. It should be remembered that BMW engines do not tolerate oil starvation, so the level must be constantly monitored. Oil should be changed at least every 15,000 kilometers or annually and not save on its quality. Candles go on average about 40,000 kilometers, and when replacing them, it is not harmful to flush the injector. Transmission. The car was equipped with a 5-speed manual gearbox or automatic transmission, and after restyling, except for 3-liter engines, also with the 6-band automatic. All gearboxes are quite reliable. It is recommended to change the oil and mechanical gearboxes after 150,000 kilometers, and in the machine, after 70,000 kilometers. The clutch on machines with mechanics runs about 120,000 kilometers. Electronics. Often, the electronic stuffing of used copies delivers a lot of trouble, especially the first years of production. Often the cooling fan motor and fuel gauge sensors fail, one of which changes only with the fuel pump. Several electronics units are located under the raised floor in the trunk and can be damaged both during dry cleaning of the interior and when overcoming deep puddles. Water enters through the drainage holes in the body. Over time, the rear door lock loosens up on restyled cars, which needs to be adjusted from time to time. Another common problem is the breakdown of the folding mechanism of the exterior mirrors. Outcome. In conclusion, I would like to recall the criminal popularity of the model and warn against buying a car without a serious legal check. Many BMW X5s entering the secondary market were stolen in Europe or taken from Russian owners during a robbery. A joke even appeared among the people: if you want to get rid of your wife, buy her X5. Before you give money for the Bavarian stallion, it is worth not only to carry out technical diagnostics, but also a serious forensic examination.